Welcome back to the Metal Table, Metal Knights.
Yes, welcome back to the Metal Table. And we are here this time to discuss individual thought patterns. I can't believe we are this far in the Death Week. I can't wait to get through with it because then we can really open up and start doing more things.
Have our own freedom.
Yeah, right now we're kind of locked into reviewing the Death albums, which I like Death, so I'm fine with it. I love Death, actually, one of my favorite death metal bands.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, this thing behind us, we're going to be upgrading as our channel goes. And just, as you can tell, we've improved in some ways. Up here, we're going to have the Wall of Legends. And that's where we're going to do our top 10s of metal albums of all time. And it's going to be up there on the Wall of Legends. Right now, we just have random albums. Painkiller, Peace Cells, The Swords, Age of Winters, Iron Maiden, all kinds of stuff up there. But that's just random albums. Like I said, there's going to be a video where we actually build a Wall of Legends. Hope you can be there to see it. It's going to be fun. Anyways, now that we're almost done with Death Week, let's dive right into this. Here it is, individual thought patterns. If you thought the last one was technical, this is way more technical. It's actually incredibly technical.
It's sounds like a sci-fi movie.
It sounds like a sci-fi. Actually, you know what? I think that's true. It does sound like a sci-fi movie. But here it is, individual thought patterns. Lyrically, he's talking about psychology and the workings of the human mind is really what he's going for. With titles like Overactive Imagination, In Human Form, Jealousy, Nothing is Everything. And he's talking about, I guess, materialism. Mentally Blind, Individual Thought Patterns, Destiny. I really like the lyrics to that one about how we all seek destiny. But what is destiny? Is there destiny? Or is that something that we give ourselves in our mind to satisfy ourselves? Out of Touch has to do with being out of... it kind of goes into psychosis, how you're out of touch with reality, and it gets into the psychological state of a human being. I mean, did Chuck take any psychology classes? Because he really is talking a lot about psychology here.
Yeah.
Then last we have The Philosopher. Anyways, that's the lyrical concept of this album. Isaac, how do you feel about the lyrical concept?
It is the lyrical concept. It is very psychological. It does sound like he is taking a lot of
I don't know if he has or not, or if he just studied on his own.
Yeah.
But... So anyways, I want to show you guys the opener to this album so you can hear how technical they've gotten and just how they've developed as a band. It's basically Human, the band or the album Human, I guess on steroids in a way.
Yeah.
Anyways, here, hit it.
Oh.
Got it. So there's that for you. The opener, as you can tell, it's really technical. The drumming is so on point. The drumming is insane. Which, by the way, this is the first album to feature Gene Hoglan on drums. One of my personal favorite drummers. I think he's a lot of our favorite drummers. He is a beast, man. He's great on drums, and he does a good job here. This is where I'm going to get critical with the album. I know we're one song in. The album just introduced itself, but already the drumming is great. And like I said, this is my favorite drummer. But for this album, I feel the drumming makes this a little stiff. Only on this album. Gene Hoglan does great on other albums. You know, he does great in Death Clock. He does great in the future Death albums. He does great in Death Angel, or is not Death Angel. Not Morbid Angel either. Dark Angel. He does great in Dark Angel. But on this album, for some reason, his drumming doesn't fit. And I feel like it's because this album is really free jazz. Right, Isaac?
Yeah, actually. You can hear the free jazz in the drumming. It sounds very... Well, actually, you can hear it in every instrument.
You can hear it in all the instruments.
You can hear it. It's very
and it's got the
flowy.
Swing. Yeah, it's flowy. It's got a swing to it. This whole album has a swing to it. Like I said, this album it's metal, it's death metal in the style of jazz music, where it's got the swing and it's really, it's just really jazzy. And I think that's why I don't like the drumming. Well, I like the drumming, but I think this is why the drumming doesn't fit here on this album, because Gene's drumming is so technical.
Fast-paced.
It's on point. Well, it's not only that it's fast paced. It's on beat.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly on beat, and so
That-
technical that it
yeah.
kind of has the stiff feeling to it to
Yeah.
me, while the rest of the instruments are like have swing to it, and they got their you know, being jazzy. I don't know how to say it. But there's that for you. That's my only criticism on this album. It might be a little over technical, but you know, I'll get to that at the end. The next song we have is Inhuman Form. It kind of sounds like part 2 of Overactive Imagination. Actually, when I first listened to this album, I didn't notice a transition into a new song. It really kind of seemed like the same song. Well, but part 2, you know. I think these songs are losing itself in technicality in a good way. In a good way. Kind of like when you get lost in a like, I don't know if any of you gamers out there maybe play Dark Souls 3 and you get lost on
Gosh.
and you get lost on the maps, but it's still fun even though you're lost. You're like, because the map's fun to explore.
Yeah.
It's kind of what this is. The songs are losing itself in technicality, but in a good way. It's fun. Jealousy is the next song. It's just a decent song. It's still technical, jazzy. Trapped in a Corner. I don't really like the song that much. I don't know why. I cannot put my finger on it. I think it's because all the instruments are doing something different. Maybe that's just me. I think it is just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Isaac,
One thing
what
I
do you
forgot to
think?
mention is that everything that's psychological actually makes sense with the album cover, because the album cover is an MRI scan of Chuck.
Yeah, it is. This I think this is Chuck. Yeah, this the album cover. This is an MRI scan. I actually have a book of artwork, metal artwork, and it describes on how the artwork was being made and why they did their choice. And on this album, they said it was because Chuck went in and got an MRI scan of himself, and that's what this is right here. That's what you're seeing. That's his scan. I think it's Chuck. I can't remember. But anyways, there's that. Do you like the artwork, Isaac?
What?
Do you like the artwork of this
I
album?
actually really like the artwork. It makes sense
it
with
makes sense with
everything.
the album, yes.
Yeah, it makes sense with the album. It was actually very well saved for it. It preserves the songs very well.
Yeah, if they use this cover on anything else, I would not have liked it, but
Yeah.
it fits this album. Next thing I want to show you guys is Nothing Is Everything, which is track 5. We're in the very dead center of the album now. And this has one of my favorite choruses here. Check this out. It sounds very classical to guitar. Go ahead and play it.
Look deep into their eyes for what they have to say. Emotions they control.
Alright, so there's that for you. As you can tell, Isaac, what did you think of that?
It was I could really hear the technicality and the free jazz of it. It had a lot of technicality.
It had a lot of motion. There was a lot of
Yeah,
movement.
it was a lot
There
of
was a lot of movement. I felt it was really melodic, right?
Yeah,
Don't you think
yeah,
it was
very melodic.
Really melodic. To me, that reminded me of classical music. I liked that. That was a really cool riff. And this is actually one of my favorite Death songs of all time. Then it goes into like this kind of choppy, I guess, verse is what it does. Here, just take a listen so you know what I mean. Go ahead and play it.
Being a part of them that is real.
So there you go. Now you know what I mean. I really like the song. The contrast between the kind of sloppy, jagged movement to the really smooth movement of the chorus. I really enjoyed that. Then we get into other songs, Mentally Blind. I mean, I don't really know what to say here because most of these songs are they get lost in technicality. So I don't know how to tell you the diversity.
Yeah, that's
in
one
them.
thing I don't like. It takes so much technicality, and I like stuff when it's very equally balanced, because it makes everything flow a lot better when it's balanced. And this one, it's unbalanced because of all the technicality, and then the drums make it kind of stiff, but it has a very good jazz to it.
Yeah, and yeah, what he said is actually true. It's one of my. I think that's a really weak point in this album. Is it over complicates itself. I think, And that says a lot because in a later album they do in Sound of Perseverance. That's a really complicated album, but it works, and it's
Yeah.
actually more complicated than this. But we'll get into that when we talk about that album.
Can't reach my water.
So what?
I can't reach my water.
That's sad. So last thing I want to show you guys is the Philosopher. Now this is a single off of this album, and this is really interesting. The bass. That's another thing on this whole album. The bass is very present, and I like it. I love it. I love how the bass is loud on this album. I wish they would do that more, and more metal bands would do that. But on this song specifically, the bass really stands out to me. Anyways, here, check this out. The intro to The Philosopher. So good. Alright, got it? So, there's that. What did you think of that, Isaac?
It was it sounded like you were traveling through dimensions.
Yes.
It
that's
really
true.
did.
That is true. It does sound like you're traveling through dimensions.
Yeah. Like, it's very... I hear the philosophy in it, but it sounded so technical.
Sounded like the music was getting philosophical.
But what I did like about it is that it did balance out the technicality and the free jazz of it, and the drums went with the flow. It went with the tempo. Again, it did stiffen it out again, like he said, but yeah, it was overall pretty good.
I think that part was not as stiff as usual, but it does later on in the song.
Yeah.
Anyways, take a listen to this bass line right here in the song. Alright, we're gonna cut it. So, there it is for you. The Philosopher in a nutshell. That bass line sounded very almost like circusy to me.
Yeah.
I liked it though. I did. It fits. I don't know what else to say about this album, but yeah, there it is for you. Individual Thought Patterns in a nutshell. Very complicated, just technical album. Really, that it's doing a lot of things.
It sounds
it's
like
kind
you're
of,
watching
it's kind
Star
of
Wars.
overwhelming. Yeah, it sounds like you're watching Star Wars. All right, I don't know what that means, but
Very sci-fi.
maybe some of you guys do. Anyways, Isaac, what are your final thoughts on this album? And your rating?
I'll give it. I don't like giving it this, but I give it a 2.5, just because it gets stiff and too technical for me. Because I like the jazz in it. I love the drumming, except it doesn't fit very well in this. Mm-hmm. The drumming is very good. Gene Hoglan's a very good drummer, but it doesn't fit too well in this album.
So you said you're giving this a 2?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5. Okay. I will give this a 3. I like this album. I do. But I would never. I never usually go and grab this album when I think I want to listen to Death. I go, oh, let's listen to this album. I never do. But as a metal album, I do appreciate this a lot, and I think it's really good. My only problem with it really is what I said earlier, that it's just it overcomplicates itself. The drumming is really stiff when the instruments are really fluid and they got swing to it, and I don't know. I guess the music in here doesn't make that much sense to me.
Yeah.
But I like it. The sense that I do make out of it, I like.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm giving this a 3. I know some of you guys are probably gonna hate us for that, because I know a lot of people enjoy this album. A lot of people really do like this one. But yeah, that's where we stand on this. Here it is, Individual Thought Patterns. Do we recommend this?
Yeah, for people, actually,
If you like, I would
I don't
recommend
re-
this. I would recommend this to people that are into tech death.
yeah.
That's about it. Other than that, I mean, I maybe you could pass on listening to this. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it for anyone, but I wouldn't say, oh yeah, avoid it. It's a very bad album. It's just...
Yeah, no, it's a good album.
It's a decent album. It's just that I don't really recommend it to anyone.
Exactly.
Like, if you want to listen
yeah.
to Death, I would say start out with Spiritual Healing, or, like, if you're into techie, I would say start out with Human. Or something like that.
Yeah, what he's saying is true. So, there it is for you. Individual Thought Patterns. See you guys later.